So it's been a minute. 6 days until I jump off of here for a minute. I have stuff to do, so I don't have time to write. I got distracted this morning. I haven't exercised. I did get my yoga, my Kundalini yoga practice, and my meditation and prayers in this morning, but I haven't done anything else, and I'm leaving for Bradenton later. So I have a buttload of stuff to do, and I'm probably not going to get anything else done. So I didn't have time to write out what I wanted to say about this card that I pulled this morning, which is the Tower, which is a major arcana card. When you get a major arcana card in a reading, or plenty of major arcana cards in a reading, what you need to know is that these are forces that the universe is putting into your path. It's not something that you can readily control. Yes, you might have made decisions that brought you to this place, but in actuality, the universe is self-correcting. So it's going to take over and remedy whatever it is that you've done. So I pulled the Tower card today. And I think that when you pull the Tower card, it's about your foundation crumbling around you, about everything being dismantled. What this card says to me is the things that you based your decision in the past, or the decision that you might be getting ready to make, isn't based on something that's very sound. So you want to be kind of conscious of why it's being smashed around on you, and why you're not getting the desired results, or why the unhappiness has come as a result of what you're doing. Just trying to see if there's anybody. I can't ever see who's in the room. It's kind of weird. So there's some people. So it's storming. You see, it's all stormy, and there's lightning and thunder, and the sea is tumultuous around the bottom of it. The base is crumbling. People are flying out of the windows. It's even on fire at the top. So you made decisions based on, oh, look at right here in the corner. It's very hard to see. That little red speck looks to me like a broken heart falling out of the window. So you made decisions based on your senses instead of what your gut and your head are telling you. And so when we make decisions that are not very solid, the universe has a way of coming along and smacking you back and saying, okay, this was not what you were supposed to be doing. This isn't the right choice for you. And so when I think about everything that I'm doing right now for my own self personally, and this little spiritual break I'm about to take from Facebook and social media in general, and I think about my past and the problems and the struggles I've had with other humans, people that are connected to me by blood, or the friends that I've lost, or even some people that I choose to be around right now, that those decisions and things that I did and the ways that I handled things in the past, though they felt like the right thing for me to do, were probably not the right thing for me to do. So let me just kind of, for instance, tell you, like, there's something that happened to me, and I approached things way different this time. And I sat down and I actually wrote out let me just say hello. Good morning. I wrote out, I did a question and answer thing for myself when I was going through what happened to me this week that made me want to lash out at people. And I just started asking myself a series of why questions. Why do I feel the way that I do? Why do I feel like people should behave in a certain fashion? Why do I think that a person owes me this, that, or the other thing? And then it ultimately led me to a question of, why do you think, give me a definition of what a real friend is, or what you look at as a friend. And when I broke it down, I realized that I had zero animosity at all at the place. I started out really at a high stress and anger level, and I ended up at like I'd taken a Prozac. It's what I told my girlfriend. Like I took a Prozac, and this is not even affecting me in any way, shape, or form. And I am good because now I understand. I see the truth. I see the authenticity. I see everything about all of us in this situation. So when I see this card for me right now, and really for anybody who gets the Tower card, it's scary and it looks horrible. But what happens when you clear out the junk, and like I think I talked about that yesterday in the post that I made, you have to go through your spiritual shit. You have to decide what stuff needs to go into the cosmic recycling bin, and you have to decide what things you can clean off that are salvageable from the wreckage of what's just now happening, so that you can go forth and build something different. Honestly, the way that I handle my temper, my anger, my rage towards people when I feel disrespected, or if I feel like people lie to me, is really kind of fucked up. So I want to always use this new technique, and probably as I get at it more and I'm used to doing these things of taking it and breaking it down and asking myself those series of why questions, I'll decide whether or not anything needs to be said or done, or if I really do need to say or do anything. Because, you know, if you're being disrespected, I'm not saying you shouldn't say anything to the person that's doing it to you, but sometimes you have to know when, like that Kenny Rogers song, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. I really think that that's what the Tower card says. You have things you need to clean up. You need to know what is the best course of action, if any, and you need to handle things differently. My approach before was to lash out and hurt as many people as I could, that were, especially the people that I felt like were hurting me. I don't want to do that anymore. It really hurts my insides to know that I'm being painful to another individual. I'm not real good at sitting back and thinking before I talk. Any fire sign in here can tell you that's a real difficult thing for a fire sign person to do. Air signs sometimes have that same issue, but air sign people actually live up in their heads way more often than a fire sign does, and they can maybe think things through. They tend to hold the shit in and hurt themselves more than saying things. But you know what? Sometimes when you're a fire sign and you lash out, it hurts you just as much as it hurts the people around you or yourself, just like a person holding it in. So there has to be a more effective way of communicating things. So I think this card is telling me you're done. You're done with all that shit, Michelle. It's time for you to move on and build something new. Change the way that you handle all kinds of things in your life, your conflicts especially, because the way you were doing it before just left a bunch of turmoil. And we're not trying to wreck people's lives, wreck our lives. We're trying to leave the place that we're standing in better than it was before. We're trying to be an example to people so that they might want to be different. Because let me just tell you that looking at other people and the way that they handle their conflict, and the way that people that I look at as like mentors, the way that they do things is the reason why I've decided to take the journey that I'm taking, stepping off of Facebook, becoming a little more in tune with my gods and goddesses, being a little more spiritual and mindful, taking time to breathe through things, taking time to reflect on what's happening, taking time to be grateful for the things that I already do has changed everything. So though some people would look at the Tower card and think to themselves, holy fuck, what terrible thing is happening, and in a broader reading, where the card is placed would mean more to me. But this is what I needed to know today. And that's what I ask every day when I pull the card. What I need to know today is this phase is done. I have moved on from how I used to handle things. And probably I've said this like a bazillion times before, but I wish I could take you inside of myself so that you could feel the feelings I have, that Prozac feeling of really not having any emotion over what it is that's going on and the other conflicts and things that are happening in my life. It's just putting one foot in front of the other and taking a step forward out of the place that I was at. So today I would normally be exercising and yogaing, but I didn't get around to that because I got sidetracked. I needed to actually exercise some of this card this morning and have a conversation with somebody that I trusted a whole lot to help me walk through a problem that I had and figure out a way that I needed to handle that situation because I was about to run down a road that was going to get me in trouble. And, you know, asking why questions is really important of yourself and people around you. And knowing when you need to push away from the table is really important too. And asking yourself, why do you think expressing what you're going to express to somebody is going to make a difference in their life or in yours? And then what kind of a difference is it going to make in everybody's life? And if it's not going to be a positive thing, if you know that people aren't going to accept what you have to say or the criticism of what you're about to give, then I don't even see a good reason to give it, because it's just going to bring animosity and pluck the web with something I really don't want to pluck it with. So, and just know that I do the same things. And if I do those things to you, you need to tell me. I'm not so stiff-necked that I don't know when I fuck up or I can't be reasoned with. My first impulse might be to look at you and say, fuck you, that's not really what I'm doing. But generally when I do that, I get that pain in my stomach and I know, oh, you know, maybe I better listen to what this person is telling me. And I'm also not so stiff-necked that I can't look at somebody and say, I'm really sorry that I said and did the things that I did and that I hurt you in that way. And I'm also understanding that sometimes when you apologize, though it might be received, your relationship might not ever be restored to what it was before, nor should it be. And I'm okay with that too. I think that we all just need to remember and recognize that we're all human and we all are going to fuck up and make tons of mistakes every single day, and that we have to give each other a little bit of grace and put ourselves, like really put ourselves in other people's shoes and know that we don't know everything. We don't understand the day-to-day struggles of what somebody's going through, and we don't understand why certain things trigger certain people. I'm not saying that you should be a doormat. I'm just saying that take some shit into consideration, sift it, and decide what's really important. Do I need to hold this grudge over this thing? Is it so detrimental to everybody? How long have I been holding this grudge? Is this grudge fucking me over or fucking them over? How is it fucking over the rest of the community? What am I doing? How am I fostering peace? How am I fostering unity among the people that are watching me? Because people are watching all of us and getting their social cues from all of us. And there's ways to handle people you don't get along with, and there's ways to handle people that you do get along with. And there's ways to not handle those people. Think about when you were the target of somebody's anger and they really had a vendetta against you, because we've all had it happen to us. We're all human. We all do the same things. It happened to me at one festival and it hurt me so exponentially. But I took that moment at that festival to recognize that my fat ass mouth had done that to other people too. And what I recognized in that moment was that there were people that loved all of us that were involved in the situation where the bad stuff was happening, and we were all saying shit about each other. And there were people that were stuck in that middle of that little bubble that loved me, that loved the other person, and didn't know what the fuck to do. So now the problem wasn't just with me and the other person. The problem now expanded out into our wider circle, and we were making people that we both loved uncomfortable being in a space together that was supposed to be sacred. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want people to be hurting because of some behavior that I have. Yeah, you can have beef with somebody, but you can put that shit on hold. Even old days back in the 80s when I was a bartender in biker bars, we had bars that said no colors allowed when you walk through the doors of certain biker bars, because they didn't want any bullshit. You come through the door of that bar to have a beer, you're having a beer with everybody, even a club that you weren't particularly friends with. And it can be done. I watched guys do that. So we can do that. And also, ladies, we got to learn to talk to each other and handle our shit. We got to learn to talk to each other and not about each other, because broads don't know how to handle our shit. Generally, we will go do something mean to try to fix whatever horrible thing we're feeling on the inside and then ask for forgiveness later instead of for permission. And I think it'd be so much better if we just laid our shit out on the table and said, here's what I think, here's what I see, in all of its brutal rawness. Let the other person say what they have to say. Preferably have somebody in the middle of that situation that doesn't care one way or the other what the fuck is going on, so that you can mediate stuff out and at least be able to coexist with one another. Our pagan community and our families that we hang around with are so small, really. The ones that we actually hang around with, or that are the ones that we are the closest to. I'm thinking of my own personal family, my own personal community right now, maybe totally different for other people. I feel like somebody needs to hear this message. They're so small. Why can't we just be super honest with each other and see the value in having every single one of those people around us, and the necessity of trying to keep our families and our communities cohesive, and being able to let small shit go by and not be fucking trying to figure out how he's going to get even or ostracize people out of the community. I've been saying it for so long, but maybe I said it the wrong way. Maybe every time I said it to a group of people at witching hours and family events, I was caustic and screaming and yelling and really angry over how I felt. But I'm not that now. I just don't want to be the cause of anybody else's pain. And isn't there enough shit and pain every day that we have to endure than to make it difficult for other humans that are just struggling? Remember what I told you, we're all just cast off star shit. We're all fucking carbon-based life forms. Just get over it. It's a limited amount of time. People are precious, you know? Oh, 6 days.